Number 3, managers should know their communication style and the impact their style has on direct reports, peers, and their boss. Dr. Stephen Covey, whose book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I've reviewed for you in past sessions, said that basically we see the world through our own eyes only. It is extremely hard for us to see the world through other people's eyes. So if our style is assertive, take command, go-getter, high energy, you know what we think the rest of the world ought to be doing? They ought to be assertive, high energy, take command, go-getting. And a lot of people aren't. So I would suggest to you to take the DISC, the Myers-Briggs. You can take them online. Something that gives you an indication of what your social and communication style might be, because it may be very different than the key people on your team. The idea there is to blend your style with theirs, not to overwhelm them with yours. And by the way, in terms of something called style or behavioral preferences, there's no right or wrong. There's yours, there's theirs. You need to put them together so that they work together so that you understand each other. So social style is very important. Next, managers should have the trust of direct reports, peers, and their boss. I've had some great bosses. I've also had 3 of the worst that I could ever think about, write about, talk about. One of them literally had the theory is that if your employees trust you, then they are weak. Because he didn't trust anybody, therefore no one else should be trusting. So he found that when you trusted someone, that was something that worked against you. I thought that was a very bizarre concept, but we're talking management now, so we're talking some possible bizarre behavior. Because people have a lot on the line when they become managers. They begin to get things called silver and golden and platinum handcuffs and benefits and can act in some kind of crazy ways. So it is important that managers should have the trust of direct reports, peers, and their boss. If you remember in one of my previous podcasts, we looked at the 5 dysfunctions of a team. And they said that the leader's best behavior in a team can be that of being the trustworthy leader and engendering trust in the team, or the team doesn't really go where it needs to go. So trust is a tremendous element in building a team, managing people, making things happen. Next, number 5, managers should have a well-developed network of people who provide information, support, and influence. Absolutely, positively, this is an age of social networking, and we do it at work too. And study after study says, no, you can't have all buddies at work, but you really need to have some people that you can get advice from, who can mentor you, who can serve as examples, who can give you answers to questions, who can show you how to do things, and with whom you like to be. So that's all part of that. So the answer to that one is also extremely important. Should have well-developed networks of people who provide information, support, and influence. 6th and lastly, your question or your statement is, managers should have an understanding of their personal mission and deepest values. What we know about this is that you and I can stay in a job a long time for the money. We can stay in a job a long time for the learning. We can stay in a job a long time for the prestige. And by the way, when I worked for FedEx, I could go to barbecues and say, hi, I'm a manager at FedEx, and I was automatically a prestigious person. Well, big deal. What we found out is, in the end run, when you work for an organization where your values and your core purpose are challenged on a daily basis, and many people would call this your ethics, at some point in time, you will self-destruct. So what we want you to do is to think about what your personal mission is in life, what your deepest values are, and do they match up and do they coincide with those of the organization in which you work. So those are the 6 readiness factors, and I'll go back over them very, very fast for you as a summary. And I'll pose them as questions. Do you have and do you solicit a highly developed awareness of your effectiveness as perceived by those around you, your direct reports, peers, and boss, once or twice a year? Do you have a high degree of self-control, especially under pressure? Do you know your own communication style and the impact it has on others, and do you realize that no two people are alike? Do you have the trust of your direct reports, peers, and their boss? And managers should have. Are you willing and able to have a well-developed network of people who provide information, support, and influence? And last, do you have a clear understanding of your own personal mission and core values? If the answer to all of those is yes, then you're ready to think about being ready to be a manager. You're not there yet, but you're ready to think about it if you've got at least those 6 areas in hand at that point in time.